All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Per your request, we are going to talk about the process of working with for sale by owners. I'm going to take you from scheduling the appointment to going on the appointment to follow up to taking a seller listing. Okay, so first of all, write three things down. Uh, Every seller is asking themselves three questions about you. Those three questions are, can I trust you? Do you care about me? And can you help me? So everything you're going to do along this process is done to convey, I care about you, you can trust me, and I can help you. All right. The next thing I want you to write down is the purpose of the call is to get the appointment. Period. The end. That's it. I know a lot of real estate coaches and trainers are teaching you qualify, 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 only go on listing appointments, not the way I've done business. My theory has always been on the phone, I'm just another pushy realtor. Face to face, they're going to like me. If you judge away opportunity, in other words, you don't go on the appointment unless it's a listing appointment, how many listings are you saying no to that will eventually hire you when they get ready? So making the call to get the appointment, really simple here, guys. Hey, Brian, John Dietz, local real estate expert. I notice you're selling your home by owner. Just like that. Now, pay attention to words, pay attention to tonality. I want to sound different than everybody else. If I call Birgit, I want it to be a friend call, not a sales call. I don't want to sound like every other salesperson out there. I want it to be a friend call. Hey Birgit, John Dietz, local real estate expert. I notice you're selling your home by owner. The other thing I want you to notice is everything is in bullet points. When you write down these scripts, you have my scripts. If you have a copy of my Rainmaker playbook, or you've got a copy of either one of the books that I have on Amazon, you've got them. If not, email coachjohndietz@gmail.com and I'll send you an updated copy. All right. When you're practicing your role playing, you're drilling, you're rehearsing your scripts, you're doing them in bullet points. It makes it easier to remember them, and that's how you're going to communicate as well. Hey Bob, John Dietz, local real estate expert. I notice you're selling your home by owner. Is it still available? Now, you're going to hear a lot of different things. It doesn't matter what they say. Yes, it's still available, but I'm not listing it. Yes, it's still available, but I'm not working with real estate agents. Yeah, but I think I've got an offer. By the way, when you hear I think I got an offer, that means somebody came over to the house and really liked the property. That's it. They think they've got an offer. So don't judge away opportunity. All right. So when you hear anything they say, the next question is, if I had an offer, would you want me to bring it to you? If I had an offer, Joe, would you want me to bring you the offer? That's it. Okay. Super simple question, guys. If I had an offer, would you want me to bring you the offer? Not if I had a buyer. If you use the word buyer, that's all they're going to talk about in every conversation that happens after the first conversation. So the question is not if I had a buyer, it's if I had an offer on your home, would you want me to bring you the offer? Now, if they respond with, do you have an offer, Lauren? That's going to be one of the responses you get. Your response is, great question, Debbie, and I won't know until I see your home. That's exactly why we need to get together. All I need is 20 minutes to pop by, take a look at your home, ask some questions, take some notes so I could potentially bring you that offer. Now, I've got time later on today around 4 o'clock, or would tomorrow earlier in the day be better for you? Or would tomorrow at 1 p.m. be better for you? I'm not, so I'm not paying a real estate agent. Or how much do you charge? Now, if you get that question, if your fee to represent the buyer is 3%, say it. Do not say we could talk about that when I get there. My fee is negotiable. No, the answer is my fee is 3% to represent the buyer if you accept the offer. Again, pay attention to my words, everybody. Okay. How much is that seller paying if they don't accept the offer? Well, the answer is super simple. It's nothing. My fee is 3%, Debbie, to represent the buyer if you accept the offer. All right, pay it. There's a couple of other messages in here. Who am I representing? The buyer. Who am I not representing? The seller. What is it dependent on? It's dependent on the seller accepting the offer. Seller says, I'm only paying 1%. Awesome. So does tomorrow at 4 work for you? That's it. Is your fee negotiable? 100%. When I bring you an offer, if I need to give up money in order to make the deal work, I will because I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. So you're saying you're willing to work for 1%. That's what it takes to get the deal done, then that's what I'll do. Right now, you just want to get in the door. Everybody super clear on that? All right, you got the appointment. Now they could say a lot of other things, okay? Things like I've already got a real estate agent, my friend's a realtor, my sister's a realtor, my wife's a realtor, I'm a realtor. I've had that conversation. I can't tell you how many homes that I listed and sold that the owner of the house was a licensed real estate agent. Go on that appointment. All right, so you've got the appointment. Now, if the purpose of the call is to get an appointment, the purpose of the appointment is to build a foundation to follow up from. Boy, write that down. Pay attention to what I didn't say. I didn't say the purpose of the appointment is to get a listing. The purpose of the appointment is to build a foundation to follow up from. By the way, going back just a little bit, let's talk about the integrity of asking if I had an offer, would you want me to bring you the offer? And then somebody says, John, do you want to get the listing? Of course I do. However, I would rather bring them a buyer. And I'll tell the seller that. I'd rather bring you a buyer than list your house. If I brought you a buyer, you're going to pay me 3%, and I don't have any marketing expense. I don't have any carrying cost. I'm actually making more money if I bring you a buyer. All right, so the purpose of the appointment is to build a foundation to follow up from. The second purpose of the appointment is to look for opportunity. Now, when you arrive at the house and your appointment's at 4 o'clock, you're going to arrive exactly on time. 4:05 is not on time. 3:50 is not on time. 4 p.m. is on time. You're going to walk up to the front door. You're going to knock on the door. This is your Kodak moment. It's the same thing as my 14-point listing presentation. Hey, Cole, John Dietz. We had an appointment today at 4 p.m. It's 4 p.m. May I come in? The moment you walk in that front door, wow, you have a beautiful home, and I'm so excited to help you sell your home. Now, pay attention to all of the embedded commands, okay? When you play this recording back, just write them all down. There's a lot of them in here, okay? So, Birgit, I'm super excited to be here. You have a beautiful home, and I'm excited to help you sell your home. Now, before I take another step, would you like me to take my shoes off? Be different, be professional, be courteous. Now, the only thing you should be taking with you is a notebook and a pen to take notes. That's it. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to ask the seller to take you on a tour of their house. This is really important. If they ask you, just go on a tour, and then when you're finished, let me know what you think. No, I need you to take me with you. I need to see the home through your eyes. And I need to know everything you love about your home, because what we have found, Montana, is the next buyer of your home will probably buy your home for the same reasons you did. You want to go on that tour with the seller. Really important. Now, you're going to also ask them, point out all of the updates that you've made on your home. Now, Karen, and you're looking for updates they've made in the last couple of years. Now, Karen, if you're on an appointment and it's clear that there's work that needs to be done, you're not going to walk through the house and start telling them everything they need to update in order to get their home sold. There is one key factor that is super important to, do you care about me? Can I trust you? And can you help me? And here it is, like their home. Do not walk through their property pointing out everything that needs to be updated. So, John, what if there's lots of updates that need to be made? Great question. So as we tour your home, Cole, if you would point out all of the updates you've made in the last couple of years, and then point out the updates you would make next if you weren't selling your home. Now, as you tour their home, they're going to tell you what needs to be updated next. Now, if they ask you, Should I do this? The answer to that question is I would, as long as it's a minor improvement. So, for example, Joe, if you walk into a room and it's purple or pink or whatever color we don't want it to be, sorry, Debbie, and they say, I was thinking of painting this room. What do you think? My answer would be, I would. Now, if we go into the kitchen and it's dated and they say, I was thinking of gutting the kitchen and putting in a brand new kitchen, the answer is not, I would, because they're going to spend $50,000 on that kitchen. They're not getting $50,000 back. My answer to anything that I'm not sure of or I know that I don't want them to do is let's talk about that when we're sitting at the kitchen table and taking a look at the market. Okay. Or that's
Yeah,
something that, okay, I'm
I'll
going
be
to hit
there
mute all. One
right
second,
now.
guys. Guys, remember that your mic is open. All right. All right. So as you're touring the home, take notes out loud. That means as I'm touring the home, Joe, I'm writing down notes. Beautiful family room, vaulted ceilings, hardwood floors, wood burning fireplace. Wow. I love your kitchen. Completely updated, granite countertops, blah, blah, blah. Take notes. Write, say out loud what you're writing down. Demonstrate that you care enough to write that, to take notes so that you can bring them an offer. I've had so many sellers tell me, Nicole, John so and so was over here and they didn't ask any questions. They didn't take any notes. How are they going to sell my home? They're not. What's the message? I don't care about you. You can't trust me. I'm just here to get a listing so I can get a paycheck. Take notes, write everything down. Ask questions. What kind of questions should you ask? You should ask questions that a buyer would ask. How old's your roof? Bless you, Karen. When you're when you're in a room and you can tell the room's being updated, wow, this is really, really beautiful. When did you update this? If you're in an older house and you can see they have brand new windows, ask them, when did you replace the windows? If it if it's an older house and they don't have a brand new AC system, ask how old's the AC system. Ask questions that a buyer would ask. If you're outside and they're on water, this is for all my Florida peeps, and it's boatable water. How do you know it's boatable water? By the way, I'm not looking at the chat, guys. So if there's something in there that's important for me to see, please let me know. Or if not, I know that Joe will answer most of your questions because he normally does. So if it's boatable water, I'm going to ask, do you have direct access to open water? If they're in Florida, do you have West Coast? Do you have direct access to the Gulf of Mexico, or are there any fixed bridges you have to go under? Important question. Going to make a big difference in the value of the home. It's also going to make a big difference in who's going to buy that house. All right. Now you're going to finish the tour. At the front door, the exit conversation is what happens next. This is really important. So, Emily, before I leave, I have two questions. Is that okay? And
Yes,
thank you, Emily.
you're welcome.
So, first question, in my experience, when a homeowner is selling their home by owner, they typically have a game plan before for how long they're going to sell by owner before they pay attention, hire a professional like me. Hire a
Mhm.
professional like me. All right, you're not going to do it like that. That would be weird. So before they hire a professional like me, is it okay if I ask what your game plan is, Emily?
Yes.
Boy, she did exactly what every seller does. They say yes. So your next response is how long?
Well, I'm thinking about moving back up north, so if I don't sell before I go back up north, then I'll hire an agent.
Okay. Is that in the next month, the next couple of weeks,
2 months.
2 months? Got it. So is it okay if I ask you one more question?
Yes.
All right. So again, in my experience, most homeowners who are selling by owner, guys, notice I'm not calling them for sell by owners. That's realtor speak. Don't speak in realtor speak. Speak to
Hmm.
them the way they speak. So most homeowners who are selling their home by owner are selling by owner to save on the fee. Is that why you're selling by owner?
Yes.
That
I don't
makes,
want to pay commissions.
that makes sense. All right, now pay attention here, guys. On the phone, if you had a conversation that included commission and they agreed to pay you blank, let's just say for the purpose of this conversation, blank is 3%. All right. In their mind, it's going to cost them 6% to sell their home with a real estate agent. That $600,000 home is going to cost them $36,000 if they hire a real estate agent to get their home sold. And we want to help them have a paradigm shift. In other words, it's perspective. We want to be able to help them see this in a different way. So, Emily, that makes sense. Now, I know on the phone you mentioned that if a real estate agent were to sell your house, you would pay that agent 3%, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, just say correct for it. Say yes
Correct. Okay.
for the purpose of this conversation. So, yeah, I get that. So you would pay them 3%. So what I'm hearing is in order to hire a real estate agent, it would only cost you an additional 3%, not 6%. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Okay, that's a mic drop. What what's my guy's name? Oh my gosh, sweat hogs. Somebody help me out. Floyd Wickman. What Floyd Wickman would call that is dropping a bomb and walking away. Now, I'm not going to say anything else about that. I'm just going to let Emily think about that later on. And I
Mhm.
promise you, she's going to. Those are the only two questions I'm asking before I leave. And then I'm just going to transition into an exit conversation, which is Emily, thank you again for allowing me to see your home. You have a beautiful home. I'm positive it'll sell. One more thing, I'm really good at follow up, so I will be in touch.
Perfect.
All right, that's it. Now you're going to leave, okay? In 13 years of taking an average of 10 seller listings every single month, and a lot of them prospecting for sell by owners and expireds, I never, underline that word, I never turned a preview into a listing appointment. Even if they ask me, John, you're here. Why don't we go ahead and sit down at the kitchen table and talk about what you would do to get my home sold? My response would be, Michael, I would love to do that, but out of respect to you, you said you didn't want to hire a real estate agent. I told you it would only take me 20 minutes to see your home. I only gave myself 20 minutes and I have another appointment that I need to get to. However, I would be really happy to come back tomorrow, same time, or we can meet later in the day at 5 o'clock, which is better for you. Now, why do I want to do that? Because I want to go on that listing appointment with them prepared for the possibility that they're going to hire a real estate agent that day. I want them to wake up thinking, I'm going to put my home on the market with a real estate agent today. I want them prepared to say yes. If I go sit at the kitchen table in the middle of a preview or at the end of a preview, they're not prepared to say yes. And I promise you, 90% of the time or more, you're going to hear, I'll let you know. Not the goal. So I want to come back and actually go through the process of my 14-point listing presentation. Okay, follow up. Very next day, Joe, I'm on John Dietz following up as promised. Real estate agents are horrible at communication. They don't keep their promises. So, what did I say right before I left? I said, I'm really good at follow up. I will be in touch. So, Joe, John Dietz following up as promised. Just two reasons for my call today. Number one, wanted to thank you for the opportunity to see your home. And secondly, wanted to know, do you have any questions for me? That's it. All right. 3 or 4 days later, follow up number two. Hey, Bob, John Dietz, following up as promised. Just checking in. Is your home still available? Have you had any offers? That's it. Call number two is over. All right. Next week, call number three. Hey, Cole, John Dietz, following up as promised. It's been about 10 days since I've been at your home. How's the activity? How many showings have you had? What kind of feedback are you getting? Now, what you're going to hear, Frank, is when you ask what kind of feedback they're getting, they're all going to say the same thing. Everybody loves my home. Here's your response. Is it possible that you're getting that feedback because you're the owner? In other words, if I were to call those buyers and get feedback for you, would you be interested in hearing what the buyers have to say? Now, when they say yes, Ask for a list of the buyers who have seen their home with phone numbers so you can call those buyers for feedback. What else do you got, guys? You got a list of potential buyers. Now you can offer to pop by once a week and pick up that list and make those calls for them. All right, next follow-up, next call. Mary Ellen, John Dietz, following up as promised. Mary Ellen, do me a favor and take yourself off mute because I actually want to role play this one. So,
Hi.
Mary Ellen, John Dietz, it's been 2 or 3 weeks since we met. I'm sure your home is sold by now.
No, it hasn't.
Really?
No.
Any offers?
Nope.
Interesting. You have a beautiful house, Mary Ellen. I'm a little bit surprised it hasn't sold. Why do you think it's not selling?
I don't know, John.
So, what's a really good buyer look like to you, Mary Ellen?
Someone who makes an offer.
Yeah, I agree. Can I share what a really good buyer looks like to me?
Sure.
So, a really good buyer is somebody who sold their home yesterday and they need to buy a home to move into in the next 30 days. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Or a really good buyer is somebody who is in town for the weekend to buy a home. Agree with that?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, I agree. Now, if you were that buyer, are you out driving around looking at for sale by owners, or are you working with a real estate agent?
No, I'd be working with a real estate agent.
Yeah, me too. Now, if you're the real estate agent who's working with that buyer, are you taking them to homes that are being sold by the owner or to homes that are listed by a professional like me?
Yeah, not usually. They're not gonna yeah, they're not I don't think that yeah. Yep, you're right.
All right. So if we're not attracting one of the buyers that we just described as a really good buyer, Mary Ellen, who are we attracting?
Uh People online, I guess.
Hmm. People looking for a deal, everybody else, people who can't get financing. By the way, has anybody asked you if you would do owner financing or lease to purchase?
No.
Okay. If you're on the market long enough, you will. So if I'm being too aggressive, please forgive me. However, if you were to hire a professional like me, you would want to hire an aggressive agent, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it sounds like you might be thinking it's time to get your home on the market with a professional. If I could show you how I could sell your home for more money in less time, would you be interested in seeing how I could do that?
John, if you could show me that, I would be interested in seeing that.
Okay, got the list appointment. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Raise your hands. Questions, ahas. We got to go quick, guys, because it's already 9:30. Talk to me, Bob. All right, talk to me, Joanne.
My aha, because we've gone through this for a long time and I have been working on for sale by owners in the last 4 months, is the shock and awe that I can't believe your home's still available. It's a great house. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because, there's one that he's like, yeah, I just dropped the price. I want you to know. And I'm just doing this. I want you to know. But to come back with that, I can't believe it's still available. That house is great.
Yeah, and followed up by why do you think it hasn't sold?
Why do you think it hasn't sold?
There you go. Which sets up, can you tell me what a really great buyer looks like for you?
Thanks, John.
Which leads to, if I'm being too aggressive, please forgive me, but it sounds like, okay, let's go, Sean Burgett, you're on deck.
Just really quickly, I've heard this a few times, and this script is oddly similar to a script you would use just for somebody that you were, going to their house to list their home.
Agree, agree, agree. I meant to say that, Sean, before
Crosses
I
over really
started.
well.
I meant to say that before I started. I should have, because I was going to say, if any of you are not calling for sell by owners, don't tune me out because this process is the same. It's the same process, regardless. Let's go, Birgit.
Nobody should tune you out because this was brilliant, flawless delivery, first of all. My takeaway is don't judge away opportunity.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes. Thank you for that. Hawk, please make it quick. I have another coaching call I got to jump on, but I want to hear from you, my friend.
Yeah, you said it early on of the point is to get to the appointment. And a couple months back, I had a bunch of agents working with me, and I sent them appointments, and then they wouldn't show up because of whatever their misconception of pre-qualification.
That's right.
And three of the ones that I sent listed with another agent like a week later because they were ready, they wanted to, and it was listed priced right and everything. It's just
That's right. That's right. Thank you for that. Karen, let's go.
Mine is a list of buyers.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
I was like, oh my God.
Just gold. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Guys, I hope you got value out of today's call, and invite your friends. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Make it a great day.
Thank you, John. Good
All
day,
right.
everyone.
We'll get them, guys.